I'm so excited by that, it made me sneeze. Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and today I am bringing you my May TBR. Where did April go? I feel like I say that at the start of every single TBR, but really in this case, where did April go? It was April 5 seconds ago. What? I'm having a bit of a bad run with TBRs generally. I'm finishing them, but not feeling that positive about them as I go through the month. So I'm going to keep going with it because I think I may have solved the reason why I haven't been reading very much, but I'm going to talk about that in the vlog that will go up after this video is up, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. I have a bunch of books that I would like to read in the month of May, and then we're gearing up for a book a day in June, which is going to be extra interesting this year for reasons I cannot yet disclose. I don't know how it's going to go, but staying positive, trying to at least. I have a bunch of books here. I have a bunch of NetGalley books. I have a few digital things I want to get to, some book club books. It's going to be a good time. Stick around and find out what you can be hearing from me about in the next month. So full disclosure, I'm filming this on the 24th, 25th? I'm going to say 25th of April. So obviously there's a little bit of time left in the month. When you're watching this, there won't be very much time. I suspect there may be an Animorphs book or two that I need to get to, and potentially the end of my Robin Hobb audiobook, Assassin's Fate, but I don't know. So I haven't chosen to replace those yet, but suffice to say, I'm going to try and read 2 Animorphs books and an audiobook of some shape or form. In terms of rereading for Overbooked, my series where I talk about every single book on my shelf, I only have a couple of bits I want to get to for that, and I have already talked about them, so I will whiz through. As you all know, last month I switched from trying to read 2 books for Overbooked every week to just trying to read a month worth of Overbooked videos every month, which makes much more sense. And in case you were wondering, I think that I am up to October in terms of the reading. Nowhere near there in terms of the filming. Need to get back on that. Potentially a job for today. So I only have 2 books that I need to read this month for that, and they are both Frances Hardinge, so I've already spoken about them. There was a book falling down behind me. We're okay. A Face Like Glass. This is the one with cheese making. It's an underground city. I'm excited to get to this again. How many times am I going to say that this video? You guess. And The Lie Tree, which I feel like is one of her best known works, to be honest, because this is the one that won the Costa Award, and Costa Book of the Year Award, I should say. And this one is dark and spooky, and the one that I probably read the longest ago, so that'll be interesting to get back to. Murder mystery, girl trying to untangle the truth from the lies about her father's death, and she discovers a strange tree that feeds off whispered lies and bears fruit that reveals hidden secrets. Yes, I remember this being super like gothic and cool, so those are they aren't my only rereads for this month, but they are my key Overbooked rereads. Let's do book club books, because that's always fun. I am in 2 book clubs at the moment, only 2, I think. Years, and I have 2 books to talk about. Unsurprisingly, it would be really convenient if they aligned, but they do not. The book for Angela's book club over at Literature Science Alliance this month, I actually went to a physical bookshop and bought yesterday. Oh my goodness, it was very stressful to be out in the world again, but I went in 2 bookshops and I bought 1 book, and it was Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. I don't really know anything about this, so it begins when 2 immortals meet in an African forest. Dorro is an ancient spirit who for thousands of years has cultivated a small village of people in search of perfection. He steals from their bodies to sustain his own life. Dorro fears no one until he meets Anyanwu. I'm probably saying that wrong. She's like Dorro and yet different. She uses her wisdom to help others, healing injuries, birthing tribes, and shifting the shapes of her own body. She feels no threat until she meets Dorro. So it's an epic story of love and hate. They chase each other across continents and centuries, a power struggle that echoes through generations. Together they will change the world. I'm very excited for this. I believe this came out in the 80s, possibly even just 1980. I've never read any Octavia Butler before. I think, to my knowledge, this is, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong because I don't read a lot of old school SFF, this is the first book chronologically, but the 4th book that actually came out in this series, which I believe is called the Patternist series. Yes, it says so on the front and everything. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. This is certainly something I don't think I would have picked up by myself, which I think is a good thing and a good reason to be in book clubs. And yeah, I'm excited to get to it, and I'm excited to send Angela all of my thoughts. And then I don't have a copy of this. I think I'm going to buy it on Kindle if I can't get it in the library. But Space Sirens Book Club are reading The Unbroken. I don't actually know much about The Unbroken, so let's look it up. This was one that I kind of decided I wasn't going to request from Orbit, and now I kind of regret it because I would have had a copy. Terrain is a soldier, stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. Her only loyalty is to her fellow conscripts, but now her company has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and the ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone desperate enough to tiptoe the bayonet's edge between treason and orders, someone who can sway the rebels towards peace, while Luca focuses on what really matters, getting her uncle off the throne. Through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Touraine and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. So yeah, political fantasy. This is his debut author, which is always exciting. And yeah, I think I just wasn't super keen on this because I felt like it was going to be a bit military and bleak. But that sounds like it could be more political. So, you know, I'm down to read it. I'm excited. It'll be interesting to hear everyone else's thoughts as well. Let's do my own TBR because it's a pitiful number of those this month, but I've got a lot of NetGalley reading to do. My other reread tacked onto a TBR item is Viper and Venom by Bex Hogan. These are the Isles of Storm and Sorrow series, and the third one is out. I can't remember what it's called. Vengeance? That's my guess. I don't know. I'll put the cover up. I don't have a copy of that, but I might get one if I like the second one. I think this is the Fairy Loot edition, which tells you how old this one is. And yes, pirates, what I remember about this book is there being an intense description of keel hauling in it. So that's fun. And yeah, somebody, I can't remember who, I apologise, gifted me a copy of the sequel for either my birthday or Christmas. I'm going to read them. I don't know what else to tell you. I definitely needed to reread book one because, as I say, I don't remember anything about it. But I'm looking forward to getting that and potentially then buying myself a copy of the next one because they are rather lovely. And also, who doesn't love pirates? I mean, you know. I think it'll be whether I'm in the mood for a YA at the time that I read them, because I find increasingly I am not. And I don't know how much of a permanent shift in my reading that is, or I don't know. And then the other book, which may also have been from Nikki, I have a connection between these two, I'm wondering. This is Havenful by Sarah Holland. I have talked about this recently, but this feels very fjord-y, Norse in its aesthetic, I guess, and in the way some of the words are spelled. Sarah Holland previously wrote Evermore and Everless, other way round, I think, and I liked Everless. I was not a fan of Evermore. I really didn't like it. I found it hugely simultaneously boring and confusing, which I don't know how that worked. So I wasn't necessarily going to pick this up. I threw it on my wish list as kind of it would be interesting to see how her writing's developed. So yes, I'm going to give this a go. Again, similar to Viper, this is going to depend on how forgiving I am towards YA tropes, I think. I don't know. Havenful is more than it seems. Beneath the beautiful sprawling inn lie the hidden gateways to 3 ancient realms. When a brutal murder shatters the peace and someone she loves stands accused, Maddie must step forward to protect the place and the people she cares for the most. Her safe haven will never be the same again. So yeah, I have absolutely no idea how magical this is going to be or how, you know, non-magical it's going to be. I'm interested, but I'm not super confident that I'm going to love this. You know, I've been burned by this author before. And then on to review copies, of which there are many. So I'm going to throw up my NetGalley app and we're going to see what we can do. First up, I have The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nevo. I have recently read other novellas, what are they called? Empress of Salt and Fortune and The Tiger Who Came Down the Mountain. And they are both fantastic. So I'm really excited to get to this. This is, I believe, a retelling of The Great Gatsby, reinvents the classic of the American canon as a coming-of-age story full of magic, mystery and glittering excess and introduces a major new literary voice. Because this is the debut novel from this author. We've had novellas, but this is the novel. Have I ever read Great Gatsby? I don't think that I have. I know the story pretty darn well. I'm very much looking forward to reading this. I can't remember if it's this or the Joan Heed that Justine and I are going to buddy read, but this is my personal reminder to myself to double check that. I really liked Nevo's writing in the novellas, so I'm sure this is going to be absolutely beautiful. I think it's going to depend how much I connect with the original source material and how much it gets twisted. I think that's going to be really interesting to find out. Next up, I have The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. We actually heard from Ava Reid at the Del Rey showcase that happened a couple of weeks ago, which was a very interesting time. I got to hear about a lot of their new books, a lot of which I'm not planning on reading, but some of which I am. This is one of them. This is a dark, evocative and unforgettable fantasy debut steeped in Hungarian history and Jewish mythology, perfect for fans of Naomi Novik and Catherine Arden. Part of why I picked it up, to be honest. I think this is going to be a very beautiful book. What I hope is that this gives me the same feelings as the Catherine Arden books, Bear and the Nightingale, etc. does. I'll be really interested to see how it handles this kind of period of history and how historical it is and how fantasy it is. I think it's going to be cool. They go from the bitter northern tundra to the smog-choked capital. I always like a countryside to capital kind of story. What they're willing to give up for a nation that never cared for them at all. Could be very interesting. Excited about it. Next up, I have Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho. I have read their other stuff. I've read Sorcerer to the Crown and what was it called? The something Queen. I can't remember, but that series, and I very much enjoyed it. I was less of a fan of The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water. You don't love everything all the time. This is a mischievous Malaysian set novel, which I am excited for, because I don't think I've ever read a book set in Malaysia. Not to my knowledge, anyway. So it's a girl going back to Malaysia that she's never been there since she was a toddler. She's unprepared for its ghosts, gods, and her eccentric family's shenanigans. Oh, she started hearing a voice in her head, and the voice is her late grandmother. Ooh. I think this is going to be very, very interesting, and I'm not wanting to talk too much about it because I think it's going to have some cool stuff in it that I want to explore without knowing too much about it first. Ding ding! Next, I have a short story collection. This is The Tangleroot Palace by Marjorie Liu, who also wrote, I'm not sure if she wrote and illustrated, I will check, the Monstrous series, which are graphic novels. I've read some of them. They are gorgeous to look at, but a little bit scary. A collection of short stories exploring the emotional complexity, diverse physicality, and layered sexuality of resourceful women. I mean, yeah, I'll take it. Briar, bodyguard for a body-stealing sorceress, discovers her love for Rose, whose true soul emerges only once a week. An apprentice witch seeks her freedom through betrayal, the bones of the innocent, and a meticulously plotted spell. In a world powered by crystal skulls, a warrior returns to save China from invasion by her jealous ex. A princess runs away from an arranging marriage, finding family in a strange troupe of travelling actors at the border of the kingdom's deep dark woods. Marjorie Liu's first short fiction collection is an unflinching sojourn into the thorny tales of love, revenge, and new beginnings. I mean, I'm so excited by that, it made me sneeze. Let's do the last two, which I actually have physical arcs for, which is very exciting. The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. We have a vengeful princess and a sorceress seeking to save her family. Together they will set the empire ablaze. All I know about this is it's sapphic fantasy. Now I know that it's the start of a trilogy in which two women, an imprisoned princess and a servant in possession of forbidden magic, come together to rewrite their fates. I am excited for this. I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be a little bit similar plot-wise to the book that I was writing, but I'm okay with it. I mean, if somebody's already written that book, then I get to read that book and I don't have to do the work of writing it, so yay! That is out on the 10th of June, and then on the 17th of June, just 1 week later, we have For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. This is a debut, and it doesn't have blurb in it. The time is at hand. The second daughter enters her 20th year, and thus our tithe to the wolf in the Wilderwood comes due. As one of the honoured faithful, your presence is welcomed as we revel in the days preceding the sacrifice. The doors of the shrine will be open to your priestesses, and seasonal tithes accepted, as our prayers are sure to be most potent. May the wolf find our tithe acceptable. May our kings return. I mean, it sounds pretty cool. I'm hoping this is a fun fairy tale and not one of those fairy tale inspired books where you get kind of like, we get it, you're writing folklore. You know, that happens sometimes. I think this is going to be cool though. The first daughter is for the throne, the second daughter is for the wolf. It's going to be exciting. That also implies some sisterhood, which is always something I enjoy reading because I do not have a sister. Would I like one? Not right now, but I like exploring what having a sister might be like. So yeah, those are all of my reads for May. And as I said, June will be my book a day in June month. So if I can get my TBR down to around about 30, then that would be very easy for my future self, but I don't know if it's going to happen. What I am really excited for is all the new releases on this list. I think that they're going to be really fun to read. I just have to find the time to write all the reviews for them and film the reviews for them, potentially. If there are any of these you are particularly interested in hearing my thoughts on before too much time has passed, let me know, because I will prioritise making videos for those ones. But if not, let me know what you are reading. Let me know if you're reading any of these. Are you excited for them? Do you want to do a buddy read? I am down. Would you be interested in, I don't know, Discord threads for them? Let me know. I'm very excited for you and for me. If you haven't already, please do follow me on all of my social media and subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. What should we do next? I should wake up my laptop. Have I ever read Great Gatsby? This is a dark, evocative, and unforgettable fantasy debut steeped in Hungarian history. No, don't die, laptop. Please, thank you. Concluding with the Georges... What's happening?